later. I kept hearing commercials about QC Kinetics and thought, well, I'm going to check them out first.
QC Kinetics has treated over 20,000 patients like Vicky around the country. People who were told they needed surgery but chose a more natural, less invasive approach that uses regenerative treatments to help heal and restore painful joints with no downtime.
If QC Kinetics had not been what I expected, I would have gone through with the surgery, but I got so much relief, am now pretty much pain-free that I don't have to have the surgery.
Before going under the knife, you need to check out QC Kinetics. The consultation is free. Call today.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Here's a lob up top. Giannis catches it and stuffs it down on a beautiful feed from Jay Crowder.
The Bucks are back in town to take on the 76ers at Fiserv Forum. Our coverage starts tonight at 6 with Buck Shoot Around. We are your home for the Bucks. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
At 9:02, it's 44 and rainy in downtown Milwaukee. Clouds today, plenty of rain. Could see up to an inch, a high of 47 falling this afternoon. Mostly cloudy tonight and 35. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Adam Roberts.
Hello, Milwaukee.
President Biden waking up this morning at the Pfister Hotel downtown. Unclear if the president has any plans in the city before the motorcade heads to Milwaukee Mitchell International later today. What we do know is several blocks downtown are closed off to vehicle traffic this hour. The Hop streetcar also running an amended route until 1 o'clock this afternoon. Stay tuned to WTMJ this morning for any road closures as the motorcade leaves downtown. The president Wednesday sharing a big chunk of federal grant money will soon transform a crucial Milwaukee corridor.
Union construction worker Melissa Garcia was behind President Joe Biden all the way Wednesday. Literally, she sat right behind the president as he announced roughly $36 million federal grant dollars is coming down the pike to improve Milwaukee's North 6th Street.
The safety is important. I work out on the road, and I know how bad it can be.
What she thinks about a dedicated bus lane coming to 6th Street?
Safe for people to get on and off. I honestly think it'll work.
Julia Fellow, WTMJ News.
A new ruling in the Georgia election interference case. The judge throwing out several of the charges against former President Trump and his co-defendants. This comes with a decision expected soon on whether the DA will be removed from the case. Senior national correspondent for ABC News, Terry Moran.
Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis is waiting to find out if Judge McAfee will disqualify her and her office from the case that she brought against Trump and the other defendants. Judge McAfee must decide if Willis's romantic relationship with a special prosecutor she appointed for this case creates a conflict of interest. The defense is alleging that there may be financial motivation for Willis to go after Trump in this case.
Back at home, a standoff at a house in Sheboygan ends in a man's death. Sheboygan Police Sergeant Andy Kundinger says the situation started with a call for a reported explosion near 9th Street and Humboldt Avenue.
When the fire department arrived here, they quickly recognized that the injury was not from an explosion, but from a gun.
Neighbors sharing their reactions to the standoff with our partners at TMJ4 News.
I couldn't focus. My family was everything. Like, are they safe? Are they safe? Where can they go? Can I even go and get through?
I did see an officer on the roof with a rifle. There was several officers or SWAT members in tactical gear running around.
A 52-year-old male inside the home was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Not a great start for the majors today. The Dow's down 133 points to 38,911, while the S&P 500 off 20 to 5,146, and the Nasdaq is down 62 points to 16,116. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Financial planning at every level. Details at annexwealth.com. Still have a freeway closure this morning on 43. We'll have the latest on that, plus sports and your 5-day forecast up next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Times, 9:05.
When you see our selection of gently worn brand name girls and women's clothing, you'll love what you find, and you'll love the prices. So low that you won't believe your eyes. At St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, you'll find something cute, maybe a whole new outfit for so much less. Gently worn brand name clothing at far below retail. You're gonna love it. On Highway 100 at Layton and Greenfield, and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
Explore outdoor living this Saturday from Eric Brown, the president of Outdoor Living Unlimited. He knows his stuff. They expand your living space with decks, patios, fire pits, even outdoor kitchens, and can show you a virtual reality of it all for starters. Outdoor Living Unlimited did a great job at the Matzik household. We love it. So listen and call Eric this Saturday on WTMJ's Fix It Show and check out OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. If you're a dad who is facing divorce, there are extra layers of stress that may include stereotypes and assumptions. No two situations are the same. Our legal experience and dedication prepare us for whatever legal challenges we face together. You need a partner you can count on. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has represented men in divorce.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Milwaukee attorneys. 111 East Kilbourne Avenue, Suite 1650, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53202.
Picture your perfect KFC meal. Then, picture the perfect price. You're thinking of the $20 taste of KFC meal. Everything you love about KFC in one meal. 6 pieces of original recipe chicken. 4 sides, including creamy mashed potatoes and gravy, sweet corn, fresh coleslaw, and cheesy mac and cheese. And don't forget 4 flaky biscuits. The $20 taste of KFC meal. All your favorites for just $20. KFC, it's finger-licking good. Prices and participation may vary. Tax, tips, and fees extra.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Bad Brewers injury news. ESPN's Jeff Passan reporting star closer Devin Williams has 2 stress fractures in his back, expected to miss around 3 months. Williams will rehab and should return by mid-season. The Crew back on the diamond today in the desert against Seattle. And after a 1-3 West Coast road trip, the Bucks return to the friendly confines of Fiserv Forum tonight against Philadelphia. Coverage begins with Bucks shoot-around at 6 on WTMJ. Checking the roads, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. We do still have a traffic alert. Let's throw it over to Debbie Lozica for the latest.
All right, Adam. Yeah, 43 still closed in both directions in Ozaukee County. Just north of Grafton, there was an accident, pretty serious one. So they have closed the freeway on the northbound side at Highway 32. That's the northern Grafton exit. And then on the southbound side, you'll be diverted off at Highway 33. That's the Saukville exit. So to get around this, first of all, you can avoid the entire area. That'd be a good idea. Take Highway 32 all the way down to Highway 60. Get back onto the freeway there. On the northbound side, take Highway 60 up to Highway 32. You can take that continuing through Port Washington all the way up and get back onto the freeway there, or else you can get back on, I believe, at Highway 33 as well. The rest of the system, things getting better but still heavy on 94 eastbound from about 84th Street through the Stadium interchange to about 35th. I'm Debbie Lozica with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
Be our eyes on the road. Report accidents, slowdowns, and road conditions to the WTMJ Hall Volkswagen Traffic Tip Line at 414-238-9329.
Your WTMJ forecast, rain today, a high of 47. Could see up to an inch of rain. Gusty winds as well, up to 30 miles per hour. Down to a low of 35 tonight as rain clears out. Mostly sunny for your Friday, but cooler, a high of 48. Partly cloudy and 54 on Saturday. Mostly cloudy Sunday with some rain-snow mix possible and a high of 40. Monday, more rain-snow mix possible, a high of 37 degrees. Right now in Madison, rain and 44. Rain hasn't made it to Green Bay yet, just cloudy and 42. Raining in Waukesha and 43 degrees, and in Milwaukee, light rain showers and 44. I'm Adam Roberts, citing Unlimited WTMJ News Times 910.
Good morning, Wisconsin. So let's pour that coffee and talk to some experts about what's going on in Milwaukee, Madison, Washington, and beyond. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's the Political Power Hour on WTMJ. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
Should we talk about the government?
Good morning, everybody. We are always open for business here at WTMJ and the Political Power Hour. Certainly that today. Our guests, they were here a couple weeks ago together and got a lot of great feedback. I said, let's bring them back because we'd like to mix it up a little bit. But these two pair well together, like sort of like wine and cheese, right? I'll let you guys decide.
Exactly like that. We'll debate that, Judge Mary.
Do it in the break. Mary Kuhnmensch, retired Milwaukee County judge, although she's not really retired. She's still working hard. And Jim Santel, always doing something, former U.S. attorney here in southeastern Wisconsin. Let's go with the big stories first. So right as we speak, Donald Trump is in court for a hearing in Florida, I believe, on the classified documents case. What do we know? What are we hearing? What do we think?
Right. So what's happening right now, of course, that case, we don't have a trial date yet, as we know. And so Judge Eileen Cannon, who is the federal district court judge presiding over that case, is entertaining what Judge Kay always used to entertain in the criminal area, pretrial motions. And so the defense has brought forward motions asking the judge to dismiss the case outright. Basically, three fundamental notions there. Number one, that the records that Donald Trump took from the White House were his. They're personal records, nothing having to do with official records of the government. Second, that the very appointment of the special counsel, the special prosecutor, was without authority by the attorney general. And third, the big issue, immunity, also out there. Those are the three things that the attorneys for Donald Trump are arguing this morning. My prediction, look to Mary as well, that none of those should go anywhere. They're all nearly frivolous arguments, but we're in front of a judge who is plainly given a lot of deference to Donald Trump.
I think that I would agree with your understanding of what you think should unfold there. But again, the wild card is Judge Cannon, and two of those issues I think are frivolous and that are easy ones for her to handle if she wants to go that route, and that is the disqualification of the special counsel Smith and the issue of whether or not these were his. He had the authority, that is former President Trump, to declassify those documents. Those have been argued in other courts, and I think she can look to those other courts and in other pretrial motions and take care of those and dispose of those issues pretty quickly. The immunity one, she may say, well, look, the Supreme Court has already decided they're taking it up. I'm going to put this on hold until we get a decision from them, and she could hang her hat on that and get away with it.
Does that mean all of the questions are on hold until that?
No.
Just that one.
Just that
one. Right, exactly. She's got another matter out there that also has to do with something. She issued an order yesterday under seal, which means it's not part of the public domain, under the sort of the national security law that provided some information about how they're going to handle these classified documents. We don't know what's in that order because the order itself is not a part of the public record, but she did say if you want to appeal this, here's the mechanism for doing it. So that's out there as well.
And for the record, the president as recently as 2 days ago said he had every right to these documents to do whatever he wanted with. That was his form of whatever he brands presidential immunity. Right. Ultimately, the Supreme Court will make this decision.
I think, and if Judge Cannon is mindful of her prior experience with respect to her bosses, so to speak, that is the next level of review, which is the 11th Circuit, they have in a very, I think, I'm going to put it as mildly as I can, but in a pretty direct,
very dispositive, right, Judge?
Very dispositive way, told her you were wrong on some of these rulings with respect to some of the FISA warrants and some of the other more technical things involving national security issues that she is woefully inexperienced in. I think you'd agree with
that.
Me
was my question. Right. Would you classify her as an inexperienced judge?
Very much so. Mm-hmm. I think that it's going a little bit too far to say that she's, the handmaiden, so to speak, to the president who appointed her. But she does show all of the signs, whether you're at the federal court or the state court level. She shows all the signs of a very inexperienced and a very cautious, nervous judge in terms of how she makes her decisions, whereas a more experienced judge, particularly on national security issues, which is a very finite area of law. That fortunately for her, she's got experts in the form of the Justice Department educating her on, and for whatever reason, she still likes to sort of cast doubt on some pretty easy things that she could, if she followed their lead, she could rule on. So that's the wild card, I think, is her inexperience.
Judge Mary Kuhnmensch and former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel joining us on the legal edition of the Political Power Hour on WTMJ. We may get back to the question of what makes a good judge, trial judge, because I think that's a fascinating one, especially for all of you out there listening. But we're going to take it north to Georgia. There's a lot swirling in that case, including a decision this week to dismiss, I think, 3 different charges against the former president. We'll dig into that one a little deeper from my legal experts after this on WTMJ.
I'm Sandy Max. There's a show to add to your summer concert calendar. Donny Osmond, direct from Las Vegas, where he's earned awards for Best Singer, Best Show, Best Headliner, and Best Family Show. Donny Osmond in Milwaukee, June 7th at the Riverside Theater. Donny Osmond has entertained audiences on stage and on TV for decades. Don't miss your chance to enjoy this energetic musical journey of songs and stories from his career. Win free Donny Osmond tickets with me this week on What's on Tap, weeknights at 6 on WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Abbott. I had snoring issues. I've told you about it, tossing and turning. Nobody should live their sleep life like that, and I got tired of it. I did something about it. I went to Abbott before I was a spokesperson for Abbott, and they fixed me. Now, you go in, you have a quick 30-minute visit, and you do a simple, really simple sleep study at home in your own bed, but they figured it out. Now, everybody's different. Everybody's had different problems, different solutions. For me, it was sinuses and nasal passages. Short procedure done in one of their offices, which are fantastic. Their staff is amazing. Back to breathing better than ever, sleeping through the whole night again last night. That's like 50 in a row. How about that? If you struggle like I did, we did, take the time to see how Advent can help you. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com and schedule an appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
I'm excited to be joined by my friend Jill Kreider. She is the president of Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Tell me kind of about the mission of Azura.
Our mission is to transform the culture of care, have a secure place, live a quality of life that maybe they don't have currently.
When I'm at an Azura facility, it feels like home.
Having team members that really care about people is number one.
Thank you for what you do for our community. Thank you for what you do for the people that live in the community.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Legal side of things for the Political Power Hour today, my guests. So we always have a wide variety of guests on the Thursday edition. Today, retired Milwaukee County Judge Mary Kuhnmensch, who still does mentoring and teaching. We talked to you. You were brought up yesterday in the program. Jim Santel joining us, former U.S. attorney as well. Annie Schwartz was my contributor yesterday. She had a lot of nice things to say about the class that you were teaching.
Yeah, it's always fun to teach, because you learn something too, and you learn that things aren't as scary. Turning things over to the next generation isn't as scary once you start talking to kids and having we have children, and I have raised 5 sons and I've got 3 grandsons, so I know where if I speak, they don't always agree with your position, but it's interesting to have them speak about their positions and why they think the way they do. So I always enjoy teaching and going back to the classroom.
One of the things I love about this edition of the 5 editions I do from journalists and advocacy journalists and legal scholars and political strategists is there's interpretation in all of this, right? I have had candidates for Wisconsin Supreme Court tell me, oh, the law is the law. It's clear cut. And I always used to say to them, I don't think so.
That's why you have human beings doing this, right? That's why you've got lawyers as advocates appearing in front of Judge Mary, appearing in front of Judge Cannon. And yes, the statutes may have language in them. The precedents may have words in them. But the answer is, how do you apply that to this particular case? There is almost always, maybe not always, but almost always room for some interpretation and for some good argument. That's what keeps the system in place.
Look at the presidential immunity question.
Absolutely.
Everybody thought, oh, this is a slam dunk. That 3-judge panel, they nailed it.
Right.
Oh, they didn't nail it because now the Supreme Court's reviewing it.
Right.
You know, there's some judges will tell you that they're there really to call balls and strikes. No, you're there to bring and to do a little bit more, and dispensing with justice or in a way that's just balls and strikes, like you're an umpire, is not what I signed up for. It was to bring all of my life's knowledge and experience and common sense to the bench, as well as the knowledge of the law, because you have to use all of them when you're making critical decisions. And you don't want an ideologue. You don't want somebody who is really a politician wrapped in a robe, where they're ideologues. They have a point of view on particularly difficult issues facing the nation. That's not what you want to bring and rely on when you're making critical decisions. It's all the other things that I think that's somewhere in between being just balls and strikes and being an ideologue. It's being, especially at the trial court level, it's relying on all of your prior experience, relying on the law, but also your common sense and the facts that are coming into you as you're having the people speak and address you. And then you use all those things to try and make the best decision you can.
So let's take the Legal Roadshow to Georgia. A judge threw out, I'm reading 6 counts.
6 counts.
Yes,
right,
I said 3 before, but election interference. This is one of the big cases, and there's a lot to this because right now, as we speak, the judge is, I think the judge is mulling over the fact that the DA, Fani Willis, may be disqualified from this case.
Well, you know, Steve, this is another example of something I mentioned, I think, the last time I was on, which is, you know, the approach that the media has taken to this is the sky is falling, whether you're watching Fox or MSNBC, and both are wrong. And from a judge's perspective, which is what I'm here to share with you, I don't find that particularly disturbing. What you're having, in fact, if I were to pull the curtain apart so that you can see what's going on in terms of Judge McAfee, a state court trial judge with only a year of experience, by the way, but a fairly new judge, but seems to be running a very good process. He may be a little bit more cautious or allowing people to say things. I had a little bit more control. I don't think I would have allowed some of the sideshow to go on that he's allowed, and he's doing it because he wants to have everybody have their say, feel good that they were heard in court.
Wants to make sure the record is clear also, right?
And I get that, but when you get more experience, you get a little bit finer view of what needs to be in and what doesn't. But what he is doing is what we call in the law, trying to make at the trial court level a bulletproof record. He wants to make sure that all of the things that are before him for decisions, that he's being cautious, but he's also being thoughtful and wants to make decisions along the way in terms of the procedure and the process that will withstand appellate scrutiny. And what he has done is not harmful to the prosecution because he's allowed them. He has said what you have and what you've shown me isn't enough evidence on these 6 counts. I'm going to dismiss them, but they're not out of the case. If you want to come back in or convene another grand jury and build up more evidence to bring them back in, you can. Or, as I suspect, Jim, they may just decide from the prosecution's point of view, you know, we cover this in our RICO charges.
Right.
We don't need to have 6 separate charges on this.
Right. You've got 41 counts altogether, still many defendants out there. So this is not a devastating blow to this case, but I think Mary's got it just right. Fani Willis has a procedural decision to make here. She can go back to the grand jury and get this issue, which is about language fundamentally, corrected and go back and determine exactly what the language should be when it comes to soliciting public officials to break the law. That's what the focus of these 6 counts has been. Or she can go in the opposite direction, simply walk away from it and not try those at all. Or she could appeal it, which is probably highly unlikely. There are remedies out here, but there's also very clearly an option here for the prosecution to go forward. And again, it does not have an impact upon the overall prosecution of the case.
And he may have tipped his hand here a little bit, if I want to read the tea leaves. And you can take this for whatever it's worth. It's my best guess that why is he trying to protect the record if his next decision is, I'm going to disqualify her and throw it out and I don't even have to do anything? Why is he making these other decisions that he otherwise wouldn't need to make on some of these procedural things that are before him, if at the end of the day, when he comes out with a decision today or tomorrow or early part of next week on the whole Fani Willis, should the office be disqualified, if that's what his ultimate decision is going to be, he doesn't need to tie himself up with some of these other procedural...
Let me ask a legal question. If he allows her to remain, can that decision also be appealed? Can Trump's attorneys say, we don't like that decision, we're going to appeal that?
Yeah, you've got one of the defendants, his name is Roman, who is... petitioning for her disqualification. The answer is yes, you can certainly appeal things from the lower court. Whether this is kind of a final decision or not, that's one of the issues that would be involved in that. The question would be, again, at some point, whether the trial would be stayed pending that appeal. It's a big issue, right? Who's going to prosecute the case? My own sense is the case should not be stayed while that matter is either appealed or subject to some further review.
I got to take a quick break here. Our guest, Judge Mary Kuhnmensch, and former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel. Lots more to get to. We'll stay on that case. Lots of detail to sort through on the legal edition of the Political Power Hour right here on WTMJ.
While you rest on the weekends, we work for you. Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News with Libby Collins. The latest in news.
TMJ4 meteorologist Brendan Johnson.
We're getting all 4 seasons, it looks like, in the span of just about 72 hours.
Entertainment.
His name's John Crimper.
I rode cheap when I was 3, and that's when it all started.
And more. Every Sunday morning starting at 8 on WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for the Bath Authority. If your bath or shower is old, outdated, has mold and mildew, broken tiles, don't put up with that. You got to call my friends at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with a world-class customer experience. I was just talking about this with my wife, Kathy, last night. We got to redo our upstairs bath. The modern, durable tubs and showers designed by the Bath Authority. Exclusive high-tech polymer liner. What does that mean? Low maintenance, resistance to mold and mildew, which is important, easy to clean, who doesn't love that, and lasts for decades. You're their priority at the Bath Authority. I'll give you 2 times, thebathauthority.com. One more time, thebathauthority.com. A better bath awaits.
Whether you're seeking endless sunshine, ancient landmarks, or scenic views, Fox World Travel can take you there. We are proud to partner with outstanding cruise companies, including Holland America, Princess Cruises, Celebrity, and Royal Caribbean, to bring you unbeatable rates for your next cruise. Unleash your inner adventurer and book your dream cruise by visiting foxworldtravel.com or calling us at 866-GO-FOX-GO. Enjoy the freedom of unpacking once and set sail for adventure.
Our mission is to protect and uphold our reputation. At Semper Fi, it's the banner we all march under, because the reputation we earn and uphold belongs to all of us. And without a strong reputation in the exterior remodeling business, you're here today and gone tomorrow. And when you've earned a good reputation, that's what makes the difference in value. It's the little extra that you get for the price. And that assurance is actually what counts the most, because it means the good money you're spending with us is not going to go to waste. A roof you can rely on, with a warranty that has a backbone, Craftsman quality airtight window and door installations, brick and stone masonry that's clean and sharp, and new siding that's been known to stop traffic. And it's all backed by a team that over the last 20 years have put a lot of heart and soul into building a reputation that you can believe in. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
We keep you safe, warm and dry, Semper Fi.
Sharks. Most people see them as a threat, but we see a potential cure. At UW Health Carbone Cancer Center, we're the only team in the world researching whether antibodies from sharks can be used to fight cancer. A discovery that would revolutionize the future of cancer care, turning possibilities into remarkable realities. So one day, instead of what if, we can ask, what's next? UW Health Carbone Cancer Center. Remarkable.
Bottom of the hour news coming up quickly. Before we do that, we're going to give away the Take 3 Trio tickets, Cedarburg Performing Arts Center. Great venue. Wild classical music, pop rock fusion. They'll rock the block with hints of the Beatles. Who doesn't love that? Coldplay and more. Bringing an electrifying flair to the Cedarburg PAC this Saturday. That's March 16th. I'm going to give away a pair of tickets right now. Caller number 5 to 855-616-1620 will win that pair of tickets. One more chance to win tomorrow, so be nice to producer Charlie in there. Caller number 5, good luck. I see the lines heating up. All right, real quickly, let's just frame this up before the bottom of the hour news. A little cleanup on the Fannie Willis decision that has to be made. You guys have a little bit more to say.
Structurally, under Georgia law.
Let's get your mic on there. You got your mic on? Let's press the on. There you go.
We go.
All right.
All right.
Now we can hear
right. Structurally, under Georgia law, one of two bases to get a prosecutor off the case. One is forensics impropriety, that is tampering with documents, and you get in big trouble for doing that beyond just the issue here. The second one is conflict of interest. And the issue is, what are the conflicts here? She's got a problem internal to the office. I think it's a personnel difficulty. It's a challenge there of huge dimension. I'd like to think that Scott McAfee will look at this and say, yes, problems internally, personnel, HR things need to be addressed. It doesn't go to a conflict. Where is the conflict in her continuing to prosecute this case? And I know, once again, that counsel will object to that particular view. I'd like to think he's going to say, no, you remain on this case.
I think it's salacious, a lot of the stuff that came in. But as to the actual law, Georgia's very clear on it. Their current law is there has to be an actual conflict. And has the evidence come in to support that? No, it is not.
It simply isn't there.
Well, we'll follow up after the news. All right, so we got a lot more things to talk about. Certainly the Wisconsin Supreme Court deciding whether or not we should have ballot boxes. That's a big one. And a little more maybe on the qualifications that make, or the characteristics of a great trial judge. We'll chew that over with these two smart guests. Retired Milwaukee County Judge Mary Kuhnmensch, former U.S. Attorney James Santel. Right now, our news time here at WTMJ is 9:30. Here's the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Former President Donald Trump is in a Florida courtroom right now. His legal team arguing that the charges against him in the classified documents case should be dismissed. ABC's Pierre Thomas is there with more.
Donald Trump is saying he had the authority when he was the commander-in-chief before he left office to do what he wanted to do with these documents. And the special counsel's office position is that that's just not the case. And we just need to find out, does Eileen Cannon buy that particular argument? That's the fundamental issue that we'll be watching for today.
Eileen Cannon, the judge in the case. In Fulton County, Georgia, a judge is expected to decide today whether District Attorney Fani Willis should be removed from Trump's election interference case because of a relationship that she had with a prosecutor that Fani Willis had hired. Former Trump Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin tells CNBC he is gathering a group of investors to try to buy TikTok after the House vote yesterday, ordering the app's Chinese owners to divest or face a possible ban. This is ABC News.
Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Times 9:31. President Biden waking up this morning at the Pfister Hotel in downtown Milwaukee. Unclear if there are any plans for the president in the city before the motorcade heads to Milwaukee Mitchell International this morning. What we do know, several blocks downtown remain closed off to vehicle traffic, and the Hop streetcar also running an amended route until 1 o'clock this afternoon. Stay tuned to WTMJ this morning for any road closures as the motorcade leaves downtown. Milwaukee police are searching for two critically missing individuals. Karma Sanchez has not been seen since around 1:15 in the afternoon Wednesday near 54th and Clark on the city's north side. Karma about 5 feet 5 inches tall with dark curly hair and brown eyes. Meanwhile, 15-year-old Jalen Sims remains missing, last seen wearing a red hooded sweatshirt, blue pants, and rainbow Croc shoes near 42nd and Stark Monday afternoon. We have a photo of both available to view at WTMJ.com. And a New Hampshire provost will replace University of Wisconsin lacrosse chancellor Joe Gow, who lost his job last year after producing and appearing in pornographic videos. The regent's announcing Wednesday James Beebe, provost and vice president for academic affairs at Keene State College, will succeed Gow starting July 1st. Gow has maintained the firing was an overreaction that violated his First Amendment rights. Time for news about your money, the WTMJ NX Wealth Management Market Update. A little bit better for the Dow at this time, but they're still down 34 points this morning, 39,013, while the S&P 500 is off 6 points to 5,159. The Nasdaq has made some gains. They are now up 11 points to 16,189. It's a great time for your retirement and investment strategy review from a fee-only fiduciary. Go to annexwealth.com, click the Get Started button now. Checking the roads, we still have a WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving time saver traffic alert. It's in Ozaukee County. Both lanes of I-43 just north of Grafton near Saukville are closed due to a crash that's still being worked on. Ozaukee County sheriffs expect the closure to remain for several hours. Your best bet is going to be either direction, north or south, Highway 32 to 33 in Saukville, and then Green Bay Road down to Highway 60 in Grafton, back onto the freeway north or south there. So again, the closure is in Ozaukee County, 43 north and south, both ways closed due to a crash. We'll, of course, have the latest this morning on WTMJ. And your WTMJ forecast for today, cloudy, breezy, and rainy, up to an inch of rain possible, a high of 47, falling this afternoon down to 35 tonight. Decreased in clouds, then sun for your Friday, a high of 48, 54, and partly cloudy Saturday. Rain, snow mix possible Sunday and 40. Monday mostly cloudy with snow showers possible and a high of 37 degrees. Right now in Hudson, Wisconsin, cloudy and 44. Port Washington, a little bit of light rain and 41. And in Milwaukee, rainy conditions and 44 degrees. I'm Adam Roberts, citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Times 9:34.
Planning for the future should include your pets. What will happen to them if something happens to you? From setting up pet trusts, to securing a caretaker, to the best place to keep your pet's information, the Humane Animal Welfare Society, HAWS, has the important resources you need. Download a free pet planning guide at hawspets.org and watch your informational video titled Planning for Your Pet's Future to ensure you're prepared. Plan for your pets. Learn more at hawspets.org.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve for Annex Wealth Management. If the economy is providing your own version of March Madness, it's time for a fresh start for your investment and retirement planning. What you do now will affect not only this year, but every year through retirement. I just had this conversation with Annex last week. It's time to put a pro on your side. Annex Wealth Management is a clear choice. an investment retirement plan built by fee-only fiduciaries at Annex Wealth Management makes sense on so many levels. If knowing where you are and where you can go is important, today would be a great day to head to annexwealth.com, click the Get Started button. I did that a couple years ago. Never looked back. Annex isn't going to push commission products on you either. Annex makes it convenient. They handle it all: retirement investment planning, tax planning, estate planning, one stop, 8 convenient locations for in-person meetings or virtual meetings via Zoom. I've done it both ways. They work great. There's a significant difference between financial advisors. Know the difference. Start at annexwealth.com.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Legal hour of the Political Power Hour, legal edition, I should say. Retired Milwaukee County Judge Mary Kuhnmensch, former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel. I've known both of you for, God, more than a decade. Great question from the text line. So I'm going to read it for you, and we can handle it fairly quickly. Expeditiously, I think they say in court. Look what I'm learning on this show. So a texter asked this question. Ask the judge and guest, how you would have handled the in-court antics of Donald Trump and his lawyers in his New York City court appearances.
I was known as a pretty no-nonsense judge. I think everybody knew if you're going to go in front of Judge Kay, be prepared and be professional. And anytime a lawyer started to act like that, I gave them a little bit of rope, because I start out with the premise that if I were to lock up every single person that disrespected me in the courtroom, I would be, Steve, locking people up 24/7. You can't do that. You have to pick your battles. But one of the battles that's important to pick is that if somebody, whether it's the litigant themselves, in this case Donald Trump, or a lawyer, you can give them a little bit of rope, but not much. Otherwise, they are going to take control of your courtroom. They're going to expect that you're going to give them that kind of leeway going forward, and they'll keep going and going and going, and you can't do that. Once you've lost control of your courtroom, which some people think Lance Ito did in the 1994 O.J. Simpson trial.
We all watched a lot of that one.
Yep. He turned his courtroom over to the lawyers. You cannot do that. You are still the commander of the ship, and it's up to you to enforce proper etiquette. So I would have had a short leash and admonished him, which some judges are now getting more comfortable doing.
And former U.S. Attorney opinion on that?
Absolutely. There's also a thing called civil contempt and criminal contempt. Some of that has to do with whether you're appearing in front of the judge and engaging these antics in the presence of the judge, sometimes outside. I agree with Judge Mary completely. There is behavior here that is not to be tolerated. Ultimately, it's about deterrence, right? If you don't stop him at the first, maybe it's the second steps along the way, that will continue. Contempt happens all the time. The question is, how does a judge handle that?
There's not supposed to be special rules for presidential candidates.
That's correct.
But
I can tell you
seems
that,
like there are.
And that is where I'm having some indigestion.
Yes.
I will tell you that I've had just regular, people off the street that are in front of me on a criminal case or even a significant family case where they start getting out of hand. They throw chairs. They rush past. They slam the door. I routinely had my bailiff go and get them, bring them back, and give them an opportunity to listen to me in terms of what their conduct is, what I expect of them in the future, let them apologize and promise to correct their behavior before I would take them into custody and have them sit for 24 hours in a jail cell. That they might get a little uncomfortable, but they'll start thinking a little bit clearer the next time they're in front of me.
All right, let's do this. We'll take another break. Got to get those partner ads in there. We love the partners at WTMJ. And then we're going to get to this decision by the Wisconsin Supreme Court to sort of look back at a decision made, I believe, in January of 2022. I might be wrong on the month, but I think it was 2022, on no ballot boxes. And I have this argument with a lot of the legal scholars that I talk to about whether the law says you can or can't have them. So we'll chew that one over from a legal perspective with retired Milwaukee County Judge Mary Kuhnmensch and former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel after this on WTMJ.
It's Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Rewards Members Spring Early Bird Event. Now through March 20th, we're showing extra appreciation to our rewards members with exclusive members-only deals. Like buy 3 tires, get 1 free. Rewards members get an extra $25 instant savings and up to a $100 consumer rebate when you buy 4 Goodyear tires. And half off a 26-piece Performance Tool color-coded screwdriver set, $19.99. Plus, this Sunday starting at 6 p.m., rewards members save an extra 10% in store during Blaine's Farm and Fleet's private shopping night.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Universal Windows Direct. I've been telling you for a long time that Universal performs better. I'm so excited I can't even get the words out. Performs better and lasts longer. Why do I say that? Super Spacer technology helps keep the edge of the glass warmer. What does that mean? Holds the window seal longer. Makes the windows last up to 5 times longer than other window systems. Let's talk about a few other things that Universal offers you might not know about. How about their vinyl siding from Universal Windows Direct? Exclusive Unishield Supreme siding, warm quality appearance of wood without the costly time-consuming maintenance and repairs. It won't rot, peel, split, and because it's color blended in the panel, never needs to be scraped, stained, or painted. I just saved you a lot of time in the future. Tell them I told you to call. Get an additional $250 off your project. But tell them I told you to call. For the last windows you'll ever need, do what I did. Go to universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, clicked on the blue button. One of our senior loan consultants, Brad, sent them a credit-verified pre-approval the same day and then upgraded to a rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval shortly thereafter. They made a couple offers without success, and then Brad told them about AccuNet's new property-specific pre-approval, where we might be able to include those magic words, no appraisal required. When they wrote their next offer, several $1,000s over asking to make sure someone else didn't end up sleeping in their dream home, their property-specific rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval included that most powerful phrase, no appraisal required, and the sellers picked Steve and Ashley's offer over several others. If you think all mortgage lenders and pre-approvals are the same, think again. Go with a local mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win and save money, too. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
The Original Botanas Restaurant. Delectable entrees, 50 top-shelf tequilas, 20 different margarita flavors. Stop by for lunch or before or after the big game. The Original Botanas on 5th Street.
Find a cascade of ideas for your home, garden, and outdoor living spaces at the Realtors Home and Garden Show, presented by Unilock. Stop by State Fair Park and let the inspiration flow. Gather pro tips at the seminar stage and chat with area contractors who can make your renovation dreams come true. The Realtors Home and Garden Show runs March 22nd through the 30th. Visit mkehgs.com for info.
Increase in taxes while families are paying more for everything from gas to groceries is wrong. Milwaukee voters should oppose increase in property taxes by nearly 30% in order to provide increased funding, yet again, to Milwaukee Public Schools. They've already wasted nearly $1 billion in new taxpayer funding, and now they want more? They don't even have a plan on how they'll spend it. Enough is enough. Milwaukee voters should just say no.
Paid for by Enough is Enough. Vote no.
Thanks for all the texts. The WTMJ Talking Text line, 855-616-1620. I can't read them all, but I read them to Mary and Jim during the break, and very thoughtful. You can send them 855-616-1620. And
we'll answer anything we can.
Yeah, and we actually we like to weave in a couple questions during our hour. And if this is a first-time visit to the legal edition of the Political Power Hour, we like interchange guests every week. So Mary, you were here with Matt O'Neill. Jim, I forgot.
I was here with Matt a couple of weeks ago as well.
Yeah,
absolutely,
so,
right.
And it's not always true. I have Rick Essenberg is going to join me, I think, in April, probably from his comfortable estate in Florida if he's listening, right? Because he loves to be in Florida.
Everybody has a perspective, and it's just how you communicate that in a way that the public gets a better understanding each time we address something. That's our goal anyway.
I love giving our audience and my audience, fans of the show, a chance to kind of hear some of this beyond what you get in the 30-second soundbite on legal analysis. There's a lot of great people doing that work, but it's kind of short and clipped. This is like a long-form debate, which brings me to this topic. This was a hot-button issue in 2022 and
2022.
20, yes,
2020.
and beyond, yes, before. Whether or not we can have ballot boxes for the drop-off of ballots. I'll start with you, Jim. This is and the Supreme Court is now going to mull this case.
Right.
What do we think about this? Because I said his name before. Rick Essenberg has told me there's no law that says that should happen. We shouldn't have it.
So you go back to July of 2022 when the majority of the then existing Supreme Court said just that. State law does not permit drop boxes anywhere other than election clerk offices. Only state lawmakers can change that law. Rebecca Bradley, writing then from the majority, says the Election Commission staff may have been trying to make voting easy as possible, but whatever their motivations, their intentions cannot override the law. So that was 2022, and now we're back again. We're going to address that again. That case was called Teigen, T-E-I-G-E-N, and now the Supreme Court, as you just indicated, Mary just indicated, is going to take that issue up again. The case coming up to them actually was focusing on that and also on one other issue. They've decided to focus just on this Dropbox question.
And I would, my disagreement is that with the Supreme Court on that, and reasonable people disagree. And the fact is that there's no law that says you can't do it either. The law is silent on that issue, and so that's the better way to frame it. The public needs to know that there are a lot of things that are of first impression in terms of how we apply the law. The law is silent on many, many things, including some of the things that are involving Donald Trump now, which is why I think the Supreme Court is taking some of these issues up, even though it seems like a slam dunk. The fact is they want to weigh in. They're the highest court of the law of the land, and they want to weigh in on it. Same thing. The law is silent on certain things, and so what do? You, as a court, are supposed to look at the circumstances, the intent, the legislation that formulated how we go in to vote, and the things that are the most of concern for all of us is we want to have a safe and confidential place to cast our votes. Safe and confidential. I had my mother drop hers during 2020 at the lockbox that was in front of the Glendale police station where the clerk's office is right next door, and it was secure and there were police there 24/7. I think that does comply with the spirit of the law.
I was going to ask you, could there be a nuance to their decision if it's monitored in a specific way, police department, clerk's office, city hall, versus a box sitting on a street somewhere?
I think it can, Jim, because of what I just said, the fact that what is the intent of the legislation when on both at the national level and in state elections is you're supposed to have a safe, secure, and confidential place to cast your vote. And if you can use a lockbox to do that in a safe, confidential, where you drop your ballot off that's been completed, I think there's enough room in the law to allow for that, particularly during pandemics, or for senior citizens who may not be able to leave their particular location, a nursing home or this, that, and the other thing. You want to be able to have equal access to justice, equal access to voting. How do you make that appropriate? Do I think you should do it at shopping centers in a haphazard way?
How about a park?
Or a park?
Right.
There may be those nuances I'm not sure I would go along with, but I think where you can find an environment clearly in front of a police station, that there is room for a lockbox in certain places, like a police station, where you could comply with the requirements of law, which is safe, secure, and confidential.
Right, and judges and justices can, in fact, craft an opinion as they want. It can be very, very broad and nonspecific, or it can be very, very particularized. And so we'll see what happens here. Think back to a case called Brnovich, which comes out of the United States Supreme Court back in 2021. In that case, the court said every voting rule, in this case involving ballot drop boxes, imposes a burden of some sort, and therefore in determining, just as Judge Mary just said, based on the totality of the circumstances, whether a rule goes too far, it is important to consider the reason for the rule. That's what the judge was just talking about.
And I believe this Supreme Court and the makeup of it for the state of Wisconsin is going to, I think, take that decision much more into consideration than the prior court did. And I think it's important that they do that, because you want to comply with what you believe is the spirit of the legislation, which is, as I said over and over, secure, safe, and confidential voting.
And the reason it matters, we've got a lot of big elections this year in the state of Wisconsin.
A few coming up.
All right, we'll take our final break. Also got a great text. Can the three of us do a coffee shop hour on a Saturday, Sunday, so the public can come and
if Mary brings the donuts, I'm there.
Here's the thing about Mary Quinman. She brings the donuts every week.
I worked with law enforcement, and they appreciate that as well.
I think she called us a cop. Did she just call us a
That's
cop?
a good thing. That's
All
a
right,
good
we'll
thing.
take our last break on the legal edition of Political Power Hour right here on WTMJ.
I'm Sandy Max. There's a show to add to your summer concert calendar. Donny Osmond, direct from Las Vegas, where he's earned awards for Best Singer, Best Show, Best Headliner, and Best Family Show. Donny Osmond in Milwaukee, June 7th at the Riverside Theater. Donny Osmond has entertained audiences on stage and on TV for decades. Don't miss your chance to enjoy this energetic musical journey of songs and stories from his career. Win free Donny Osmond tickets with me this week on What's on Tap, weeknights at 6 on WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Adair Floors and Remodeling. Why do I bring them up? Because they just did my landing area at home. Looks fantastic. We had the weird old linoleum. Now it's a beautiful wood plank floor look, made for basements. It changed the dynamics of walking down those stairs. Their design team work with us. They can work with you as well. Flooring and remodeling. They do a whole lot more than just floors. For your home or business, 65 years. They did my kitchen floor 20 plus years ago. Still looks fantastic. Family owned and operated right there in Franklin, South 27th Street. That's the border between Oak Creek and Franklin. We all know that. South of Rawson Road, north of Highway 100, which is also Ryan Road. Shop in, stop in. Shop in, stop in. I just created something there. Tell them Scaffidi sent you, or visit them online at Adair, ADAIR Floors.com.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. If you've got water in your house, you need Guthrie and Fry. We've got their water softener. We get their salt delivery. We've got reverse osmosis that protects the water in our house. They've got the best people. They've got the best products. It's Guthrie and Fry. They treat their clients like their family. I feel that every time they're in our house, you need Guthrie and Fry. Fixed rental rates, convenient salt delivery programs. It's gfwater.com.
Better water makes a big difference. Guthrie and Fry.
Fleet Farm's got everything you need for everyday life. Brands from Carhartt to Milwaukee to Purina to Goodyear to Rapala to Levi's and a whole lot more. In-store or online, check out all the brands Fleet Farm carries to help make your everyday life better.
Uline is here for the hard workers. For the ones rolling up their sleeves, working round the clock, and getting the job done. You're dedicated to doing what it takes to keep a business growing. Uline is dedicated to helping you make that happen. Working 7 days a week, staying fully stocked and ready to ship any of our 41,000 items the same day. Uline, your shipping and industrial supply specialists. Visit uline.com.
Do you love the simplicity and enduring quality of Scandinavian design? Then the Fjords factory-sponsored sale at Ken Michaels Furniture is for you. Inspired by tradition and built to last, Fjords brings the best of modern Norwegian design to your home. Save 20% on these ergonomic recliners and sofas engineered with comfort in mind. Available with manual or power options. Stop in today and save 20% at Ken Michaels Furniture on Capitol Drive in Brookfield, Highway 100 in Greenfield, or our downtown factory showroom. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Remaining minutes with my guest, retired Milwaukee County Judge Mary Krumens and former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel. So in poker, they call it a tell, right? You do something, or you sometimes even say something that indicates the strength of your hand. In the Supreme Court, could this be called a tell?
Yeah, it probably could be, and it's interesting language, right? And so we've talked already about this Colorado decision saying, yes, Donald Trump's got to remain on the ballot there. Along the way, as we've talked before, Amy Coney Barrett, among other justices, she writes a concurrence in which she says, yeah, I agree with my sister-in, if you will. It's all the women on the court, I think, make the right decision here, and all the men go in an opposite direction. But she says this. She says, we're sitting here in a politically charged time, particularly in this circumstance, she writes, writings on this court should turn the national temperature down, not up. For present purposes, our differences are far less important than our unanimity. All 9 justices agree on the outcome of this case. That's the message Americans should hear. Question out loud as we talk about what judges do, that is applying law to the facts and facts to the law. judges certainly live in the world, and they perceive things out there. Is that an appropriate analysis for a judge, a justice to undertake, saying, I've got to turn the temperature down, and that's the reason why we're coming to a result, as opposed to saying that's what the law commands, what does the facts command? I think about 1954. Supreme Court said separate is inherently unequal, plainly not turning the temperature down in America, but doing what is right. And so interesting language coming out from Amy Coney Barrett earlier, a week or so ago, March 4th.
I'm so glad you raised that issue, because what she is saying, and that most of us judges, and we take this part of our work very seriously, and that is words matter, Steve. No matter what anybody else tells you, words still matter. I'm not talking about being politically correct. I'm talking about how we engage in civil discourse in this country, including at the highest levels of the court system. And so if you are going to, as a judge, yell at a defendant who's in front of you, by way of analogy here, and call him out of his name, or be rude, or say things that are wholly inappropriate, even though it would be considered street language on the street, it's unacceptable and inappropriate in a courtroom. Why? Because words matter. And what you're supposed to be doing with litigants before you, criminal and civil, is to tell them and educate them as to why their behavior isn't appropriate, reason with them, be rational, explain why you're doing it. People will, they may not, if you give a decision that they don't agree with, they're more likely to accept it and not get into a fight with you or start arguing with you or debating with you, because at least they felt they were heard. So words matter, engaging with people, and I think Coney Barrett, being an educator, is used to teaching, is used to doing that, and I think she gives a very wise discourse in her decision, in her concurring decision, by saying, let's lower the temperature in this country, and we can start by having the court do it.
And here's some words for both of you from the text line. I love this common sense conversation and discussion along with educating the public. I vote for more civility. Thank you both.
Good to be with you as always, Steve, especially with Judge Mary.
Thanks for giving us an opportunity, Steve.
Absolutely. The Political Power Hour right here on WTMJ.
Our mission is to protect and uphold our reputation. At Semper Fi, it's the banner we all march under, because the reputation we earn and uphold